first and understanding what it's about, but that's just the way it is. So, like I said, I don't have the physical books, so I'll be tapping on one of the books that I do have. Same book I used last video. I kind of have a hard time, like, deciding how wrap-ups will go. I feel like I should describe what the book's about and just, like, say if I liked it, I guess. Sometimes I go and, like, I feel like I get too detailed, but anyway, anyway, I'll just get started. So, the first book I read in July, I think, is Seatmate by Cara Bastone. This is a book, I think, only to Audible. It says Audible Original, so that's what I'm guessing. I rated this a 3 out of 5, and I didn't, 3 is like my baseline for, like, it was just a book. I didn't hate it, I didn't love it. What I did enjoy about this book, though, was how it was produced, because it had a lot of, like, background noise, like, for example, the whole story took place on a bus, so, like, you would get, like, traffic noises and things like that. So, this book is about, I forgot the main character's names, honestly, but 2 people who sit next to each other on a bus, and they just get to know each other like that, and a romance friendship, I guess, develops, and one of them is, like, on a mission, basically. Like, she actually is going somewhere. I said that I felt like I was listening to a podcast. Like, if you want to listen to, like, if you just want to listen to something, sure, I would recommend this. And I think it's short, like less than 5 hours, I think. But, like, this book isn't very, like, it's not super romancy or anything like that. And that's what I needed from it. I wouldn't reread this book, and honestly, aside from what I said, I wouldn't really recommend this book either. It's not bad, it's just not memorable. The next book I think I read was The Serpent and the Wings of Night. This follows our main character, Araya, and the love interest, his name is Rain. They are both in this, like, in this competition, basically, to be granted a wish at the end by their goddess. And before, like, they're called trials, so they go through, like, I don't know, like 7 or 5, I don't know. But basically, Rain and Araya ally with each other, and that's kind of how their friendship and slash romance begins. Araya is a human girl, and Rain is a vampire, so this book kind of reminded me of ACOTAR, like the first book in ACOTAR, with having to go through, like, trials to get something in the end. But a problem I had with this book is that I felt like I needed more backstory or, like, detail, because, like, I couldn't picture it too well, and the trials weren't really detailed enough for me. The romance in this book was good, though. It was like a slow burn, and they had, like, their moments of tension and somewhat intense scenes. They have one specific scene that I really, really enjoyed. If you happen to read it, it occurs in the cave. But yeah, I enjoyed, like, those type of scenes more than their spicy scenes. Not that, like, they're bad. Sometimes their scenes before that are better, like with every book. Both of the characters, luckily, were likable, and they had good banter and conversations, because sometimes I think the conversations were, like, deeper. So, I like the idea of this book, but sometimes it felt fast. I guess for this book, I wish I'd Rain's POV. I guess this book was somewhat good, because after I said I miss Rain, and when you, like, miss a book, I feel like that's how you know it was good. So, some like tropes or themes within this book was that had to do with vampires. It kind of was a Grumpy Sunshine, and there's a plot twist. Would I recommend this book? I think I would. I could ask myself if I would reread it, and I think I would, to try to like invest myself in it. Hey guys, I actually forgot one of the books that I read, and I've already recorded this 1,000 different times, and each time there's some kind of background noise, and that is one of those times. So if you hear that, I don't know, it's annoying. But one of the books I forgot was the second book of Crowns of Nyaxia, The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. I rated it a 4 out of 5, but I really couldn't decide between a 3.5 or a 4. This book immediately picked up after the first book. For some reason, this series did not really hit with me. Like, I wanted to love it, but I didn't. And this book was kind of a diluted version of the first one, honestly. Like, I don't know. Something about this book that I didn't like was that everything felt really easy, like with every conflict and stuff. It just kind of had a convenient solution. And the interludes in this book, I really didn't like it. It was just like stuff we kind of already knew, and then Rain's past being brought up. Like, I don't care. Like, you know, the first girl he like originally loved, and then now he's with a different person. It's like, why do we keep mentioning that girl? That girl being Nessanine. Also, the way the first book ended, and then what Araya basically was not the same person in the first book to the second, and I don't want to say like why like I thought this, but she kind of was less like angry with the world, I guess, or like she kind of was less of a baddie, really. I would say though that Rain and Araya still had their good moments of tension and good banter. I do like that Rain is kind of like a simp for her. Like, I can get behind that. Oh, and another like issue I had was that they would repeat the same scenes from the first book, and I don't know, I just feel like that's kind of lazy. But we get a more, I guess, like in-depth view of Vincent, so I thought that was cool. Yeah, I didn't really like enjoy this book too much. I feel like there was only one part of the book that I was like, what's gonna happen next? So that's pretty sad. So I don't know if this was the next book or not. I'm just going in this order. The next book I read was Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross, and I rated this a 4 out of 5. I did enjoy this book, and I liked Iris's and Roman's relationship. It's kind of an enemies to lover thing, and I did like that, but it kind of ends pretty fast. It wasn't really a boring book, but it kind of felt, it's an easy read, basically. Roman basically, like, he kind of pines after the girl and like wants to protect her, but like it's kind of surface level. Like, their romance isn't detailed, and like their intimate scenes, I guess, like it would be like 1 chili pepper out of 5. Oh, I forgot to say what this book is about. So this book is about Iris, who like loses her brother during the war, and she's like this becoming journalist type girl, and the main male character is also like a journalist. Like, they're both trying to like write for this column or something, and they kind of have to compete against each other for it. Like, it's not a competition book, but that kind of happens. But they both like possess these typewriters where you can like type to each other from anywhere in the world and they'll get it. They kind of are like vulnerable within those letters, and obviously there's like, I wouldn't say this is a spoiler or anything, because like you find out very fast that he's the one that is getting these letters. And anyway, they had good banter, during the spicy scenes, but he has to like win her back, and he ends up like singing for her, and that's just gross. I never felt giddy for this couple. I don't even know if this story had a plot. It kind of did, but okay, so it revolves around the guy Alex and the girl Ava, and he's basically a baddie, like a bad boy, like he's feared by everybody, and she's like a good girl sunshine, and basically it's like he's supposed to be soft for her, and he's feared by everybody, but it's not even like that at all to me. But the girl honestly wasn't memorable. Like, aside from being, I think, a good girl, I have no idea how I would describe her. Yeah, so anytime I see this book like recommended on a TikTok, I just like disregard the entire video, because this book is so bad and I just can't grasp how someone would like it. Listen, that's my opinion. That's my opinion. I'm a severe hater about this book. I did give the second book a chance because I thought that it had higher rating than this one, and I started it and it kind of was giving this Twisted Love vibes. So anyway, some tropes in this where brother's best friend becomes a boyfriend, sunshine and grumpy, and he kind of begs for forgiveness, which I put in parentheses, who cares, because it didn't even matter anyway. It was stupid. I don't like this book at all. The next book I read was the rule book. I rated this a 4 out of 5. It was about, by Sarah Adams, by the way. It was about this sports agent and this football player who were once together in college, and their relationship didn't end up well, but because she becomes his agent, they kind of have to like rekindle in a way. This is a enemies to lovers, and I liked it. It kind of felt real. There were a couple cringe moments. It was kind of like a slow burn, and the fact that it's called a rule book is like, I don't really know why you would call it that, because ultimately the rule book had no importance. There are some moments from the male character of jealousy and possessiveness, which was nice. I like that kind of stuff. So some themes in this were second chance at love, forced proximity, enemies to lovers. They're both never out of love, really. Grumpy sunshine, and a sports romance. I like this book. Would I recommend it? I think I would. The side characters also, like, nobody was annoying in this book, so that's a plus. The next book I read was Icebreakers, and I gave this a 3 out of 5. I honestly, this is either a 3.5 or 2.5, but I don't know. But I said, not bad, not amazing. It's basically about, I mean, I assume like a lot of people know this book. This ice skater named Anastasia and a hockey player who is a captain, and his name is Nate. They're basically forced into the same rink because one of the other ones gets trashed, and that's basically how their romance starts. I didn't exactly like this book because I'm not a fast-paced girly. I think that, I don't know, like, I feel like there wasn't a real point to this book, and I think a lot of things could have been done different. One of my problems was they had like conflict, and then it would be solved with a spicy scene, conflict again, spicy scene. Like, it was just that a lot of the times. The main male character, like, he's a nice guy and stuff, and like there was actual good No, I don't think I would. I think this book is overhyped, honestly. So, the next book I read was The Quiet Tenant, and I read two different genres outside of romance. This being one of them, it's like a thriller. Basically, this was about a girl who is captive of this guy, and she lives in his shed, and he has to move out, so he moves her with them, and they live a different lifestyle when they move, and it kind of goes from there. It was fast-paced, I think, and I did read it fast. It wasn't hard to understand. There was multiple POVs, and it was able to keep my attention. My, one issue with this book was that I didn't feel much fear for the victims, and I would have liked some more detail in some scenes. Would I recommend this book? Yeah, I would. I found this off of TikTok, by the way. Almost all these books come from TikTok. So, the next book I read was The Tattooist of Auschwitz, and I believe this is based off somebody. I found this book was okay. It lacked a lot of detail to me. It felt really surface level. It's good. I just, really couldn't connect. There's a romance within this, and it was just okay, what? Yeah, I don't know. This book just wasn't for me. It has a really high rating, and for the story itself, it has nothing to do with the story itself. I think maybe it has everything to do with how it was written. I would not recommend this book. The next book I read was Butcher and Blackbird. I rated that a 4.5, and I'm sure you guys have heard of that, or heard of that book. It's about serial killers, killing serial killers, and there's romance in between that. I actually enjoyed that book a lot more than I thought I would have. I heard it was insta-love, and honestly, I didn't find it to be too insta-love-y. The characters were immediately attracted to each other on a physical level, but aside from that, it was kind of a slow burn, honestly. To me at least. It was fun. I listened to it, and the audiobook is really good. I have not heard an audiobook like that. It's detailed in the way that they speak. The actual killings in this book aren't super gory. Would I have liked it to be more? Maybe. I didn't have a problem with it, but I could see how people would have a problem with that. I enjoyed the romance. I did not care for the spicy scenes at all. The main male character shows sides of protection or possessiveness and any type of that stuff. I'm in. Give me that all day. Now, I don't know. It was good. The guy has an accent in the Audible, which is also good. I surprisingly like this book a lot. Anyway, I don't know if I read this immediately after, but I did read the second book, Leather and Lark. I gave this a 3 out of 5 star, and this book was odd. I said I felt oh my gosh, I always forget how to I always forget to explain the book. This is about Lark, who's kind of a singer and a killer on the side, and then Lachlan, who he's in the business of killing, and they are friend and brother to Butcher and Blackbird, which is Sloane and Rowan in the last book. Lark is Sloane's friend, and then Lachlan is Rowan's brother. Anyway, so I didn't love this book. They did have a few good moments of tension, but again, I don't care for their spicy scenes at all. Compared to Butcher and Blackbird, there's Leather and Lark, whatever. Lark's and Lachlan, their scenes were kind of cringe, honestly. They have a bonus chapter, and I just did not like that at all. I didn't think there's any chemistry in this book. They had one decent was kind of annoying. And Lark being a singer, I think was also kind of cringe. It seems random, really. They do sing in the book, and I skipped that. This was a slow burn, but like not really, because they kind of do stuff in the beginning and then whatever. This book, would I recommend this book? No, honestly, I almost didn't read it because I heard that it was worse than the first book. So anyway, the next book I read was The Court Prince. I rated this a 4 out of 5 because of the ending scene. This was a slow burn, and it was about Jude, the main character, and like it follows her and her sisters, and they get bullied in school or whatever by a prince named Garden. They're enemies all throughout here, but they give like drops of the fact that they're kind of attracted to each other, I guess. There is betrayal in this book, or plot twist, I don't know, but it was easy to follow and imagine. I thought there was going to be more romance, but maybe if there's more romance in the next book, it's fine. One of the issues, I guess, that I had with this book was that the main female character is supposed to come off like a girl boss, but honestly, she's not. But I like enjoy that she's obsessed with the main character, like the main, that she's not obsessed with the main male character, because I don't like an insta love type feel. There's bullying in this book, and I was honestly like on the brink of not liking the bullying so much, but I'm glad it went away when it did, because it would have been too much. This felt like my first real like enemies to lovers. Like they actually don't like each other. There is an annoying character, which is the main Jude's sister. She's annoying, and I wish she was killed. Sometimes I think it felt slow for me, I guess. There are fairies in this world with animal features and humans, which is why I almost didn't read this book, because a guy with a tail just doesn't really do it for me, I think. But luckily that hasn't been talked about. Would I recommend this book? I think I would. It's kind of like this would belong in like high school or middle school. Like nothing was too graphic in here. Like Chili Peppers would be like 1 out of 5. I'm more of like a 3 out of 5 girly, I feel like. But I'm willing to wait if it happens to increase as we go. So the next book that I read was The Fall of Ruin and Wrath. I gave this a 4.5 because this is the first book since ACOTAR that I finally felt a bit of giddiness for characters. It was kind of a slow burn. It's about this human, and like she falls for this highborn god basically, but like they meet way before they meet later on in life, and he doesn't realize that this girl is her. She has like these powers within her that she doesn't understand, and that plays a bigger part in this. But for the most part, it's her living in a dude, what's her, I don't even know her name, but the girl, what's her name? Her name is Callista, and basically it's her living in her human world, and she meets this god named Thorn, and they kind of just keep running into each other, like, but she, like, these powers that she has, they lead her to him every time, and we're not sure why. I sometimes did have a hard time following, probably because of the audiobook thing, but I really enjoyed the characters' tension and the way that the book is going. This book does leave off on a cliffhanger. The main male character, I actually loved him. Like, he talks to her, like the way he talks to her, how gentle he is with her, and playful. Like I said, they kind of have a pull towards each other, and it was nice to read. They actually had spicy scenes that I enjoyed. He does get jealous at some point. Like I said, I'm a sucker for that. This book leaves you like with a lot of questions, or at least left me with a lot of questions. But an issue I'm having is that aside from the romance, I don't actually have a clue what's going on. Like, it's a lot within the outside world, and again, that could be me because of the audiobook thing. I would read this again for the sake of trying to understand it better. It is a slow burn, and there is forced proximity. The book is much more than what I'm saying. Like, I just have I'm not good at describing, but I would recommend you this book. This is the only book. This is one of the only books I didn't get from TikTok. So the next book I read was The Night Circus. I gave this a 2 out of 5. It follows, like, dude, I don't even know. I gave this a 2.5 out of 5. I said it was a whole lot of nothing, honestly. There's 2 main characters. One's a girl. Dude, I forgot the girl's name. I don't even write it in my review. But basically, the main female character and the main male character, they both have like this magic, and they are put into this competition at an early age. Like, it's not really just about that. Like, throughout the book, so the whole setting is based in a circus, and there's a lot of description about the way the circus is, makes you, like, the way it looks, the way it feels. I don't care. Like, I didn't care for the descriptions about the circus. Like, I get it. Let's get to the competition part, because that's what this book is supposed to be about. So, on my review, like, I put, like, I was waiting for the story, and the story never came. I kept mentioning the competition never came. I had a lot of questions about this book, or during this book, that were never answered. And, in the end, it felt like nothing mattered. The romance was extremely boring. It was like 2 people meeting each other for the first time, and they think each other is cute, and they're like, oh, I want to marry you. Like, nothing made me understand why they felt a certain way towards each other. Like, I don't know anything about the 2 main characters. The book also jumps around in time, and I got lost. Could be because I was, listening to it. And the narrator of this audio, or the narrator, was bad. They kind of do throw in random characters, which can be annoying because, like, their story in the end doesn't matter. There is a slight romance, aside from the main characters, that I sort of enjoyed. But anyway, would I recommend this book? No, I wouldn't. If you want to read detailed descriptions about the circus with really minimal romance, then yeah, I guess I would recommend this. I went in very positive towards this book, and I did not come out that way. I just didn't like it. It wasn't my vibe. I thought there was gonna be more romance, but oh well. Next, I read The Lost Sisters, which was the I'm guessing novella to The Girl Prince. It was basically just this apology from the sister. I said she was annoying. She apologizes, and this is her apology to the sister, to Jude. It was just like a little thing to read. I rated it a 3. Basically, Taryn, which is the sister, is weird and annoying. She doesn't get anything. There's not much to say. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just there. Next book, I rated a 3, which was The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. This follows, I don't have her name written. It starts with an M. Basically, she's a witch, and she gets called to this house that holds 3 sisters who are witches, and she has to tutor them, and a romance forms within it, but the romance is not like the main focus. I didn't hate it, and I didn't love it. I wouldn't read again or recommend. It was a pretty straightforward book. The romance here kind of felt a little forced. I did enjoy some things about it, but once the characters actually got together, it kind of just went downhill. I can't say I cared too much for the plot or anything, as I wasn't invested or connected with it, but I could see how this book would be comforting, because a lot of people were saying how this book was like a cozy book. I didn't really like it that much. Yeah, whatever, I guess. The last book I read was Happy Place by Emily Henry. This was my first Emily Henry book, and I rated it a 2.5. My main opening line to my Goodreads review is,